The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. A little experiment. Kenzie going to play you a piece of audio and then want to see which side of this you take. It's gone viral over on TikTok in the last couple weeks here, but I want you just to take a listen.
Okay.
I'm not telling you anything else about the audio. So here we go. There's a question at the beginning.
Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
Man is scary. With a bear. Well, I've heard about bears. They don't always attack you, right? So maybe a bear.
Depends what man, but probably a bear.
Oh, 100% a bear, which is like terrifying to say, but
Definitely a bear. Some men are very scary out there.
a bear.
I would say a man.
So women were asked if they'd rather be stuck in the forest with a man or a bear.
Okay.
Most of them said a bear.
Yeah, do you get to pick the man?
No. So,
Bear.
well, is there a man in your mind you would pick?
Well, I'm not scared of my dad. So like he'd help me. He's like build fires and stuff.
That's actually pretty funny.
So yeah, that'd be great. But besides that,
So an unknown man and an unknown bear.
unknown bear.
Yeah, you don't know the bear either.
1,000%.
Yeah. Now, bears eat people. They can do that. And maybe is the impression that all men could be scary in the woods?
Well, you don't get to pick.
But bears definitely want to eat
Men
you.
are scary on State Street.
That's true.
So
I've never seen a bear on State
Imagine
Street.
how scary that would be.
less scary.
But all bears are going to come to try to eat you.
Not all of them.
I don't know.
Not all bears. Panda bear?
It's not a panda. It's
Why can't you pick what kind of bear?
Because let's say it's got to be like a brown bear.
A brown bear?
Yeah.
Like a grizzly?
Yeah, like a grizzly bear.
Okay.
So it's a grizzly bear and any guy in the woods.
Grizzly bear.
Still a grizzly bear.
Yeah, some of them leave you alone.
Yeah.
I used to walk. Okay, in fairness, living in North Carolina when I was a kid, we used to have bear bells when we'd walk to school because you'd run into bears.
What's a bear bell do?
It makes loud noises.
And that scares them away?
Yeah, they don't really like loud noises.
Did you
so
wear it?
honestly, I'd be fine.
No
bears come in this direction. I just have a phone and talk on the, be talking to my mom.
Did you wear the bell?
No, you just bring it.
And then is it like a dinner bell?
If you
kind of
see
thing?
one, then you just ring it.
And they run.
And that's the theory. I don't 100% know the success rate.
Did you ever see a bear and use it?
I saw a bear, but I didn't have to use it. It was far enough away. But I saw a lot of bears. They used to walk in front of our house and stuff.
No kidding.
So I was less scared of bears. And they never attacked me. Now men, seen a lot of them. And they've often approached, which is terrifying.
All right, well, that settles the debate for the women out there. Would you rather be stuck in the woods with a bear or a man? The bear is definitely a grizzly bear, and the man is unknown. You can't pick your day.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Well, we're going to pour one out for another Chicago iconic thing that I think a majority of our listeners can relate to, the men specifically. So we'll get that in a second. First off, my brother Steve just texted me, and we were talking about the guy we're bringing in tomorrow who went to Glenbrook South High School, dreamed of working at Q101 16 years ago. He was interviewed in high school, and now he's in his 30s. We're bringing him in tomorrow to help him live his dream tomorrow. My brother Steve checked in and said, remember, your nephews, his sons went to Glenbrook South High School. Remember that. Also, he said, number two, Kenzie is spot on about your basketball career in high school. No one understands. I had schools after me, North Carolina and Georgetown, when I was a freshman, and I was 6'4.25" then.
After you, would you steal from them or something?
They were after this turnaround jump shot, Kenzie, that you will witness at a park somewhere around Chicagoland after the show today.
I'm not going with you.
You're going.
No, I'm not.
I'll buy food.
Oh, well, maybe.
You got a letter from Georgetown?
I got a letter from Georgetown in North Carolina when I was 14 years old.
They're like, please stop submitting. We will contact you if we're interested.
Consider this a restraining order.
This is legally binding.
All right, huge news story today, and we're going to pour one out for the Boy Scouts of America. Now, they're not going away. Troubled times in the last couple decades for the Boy Scouts of America. They're changing their name to Scouting America. It goes into effect next February. I don't know why they can't get on it right now. If they want to change their name, let's not wait a year. February?
Well, they're going to get to it. My baby's going to be 1.
Your baby will have a mustache by then.
It's in college playing basketball. I'm like, Brian.
So the Boy Scouts of America is changing their name to Scouting America. They've had several years. They've been around 114 years, but they've had a lot of problems in the past couple decades, I would say. And now they started allowing girls to come in 2018.
No thanks.
Well, that's the weird thing. There was a lot of, very dark and bad things going on there as far as some sexual abuse claims and.
Yeah, it's like, let's bring in women. We're good. That's fine. You guys are having a lot of trouble over there with all guys. We're going to stay over here in Girl Scouts.
And that actually was weird because there's the Girl Scouts of America. Why didn't they just want to stay there where there was no scandals going on in the Girl Scouts of America, as far as I know?
Probably some cookie drama, but that's fine.
Yeah. 6,000 women have already made it to Eagle Scout, by the way. So a lot of women and girls did go in. Yeah, excelling and taking it over.
Kicking their ass, tying knots, baby.
I guess. So, yeah, the Boy Scouts of America changing its name to Scouting America to be more inclusive. And again, it will
steal the clientele.
Listen, you have brothers, Kenzie, and I talked to Case about this before the show a little bit. I wasn't in Cub Scouts or the Boy Scouts. My brother Greg was in the Boy Scouts. And when he came home in the uniform, I thought he signed up for the Iraq War. I didn't understand what was going on. I'm like, you can't go, Greg. You can't go. Stay here. They drafted you? You got drafted? I was crying. It's terrible.
I remember my friend being in it.
Yeah.
I was not. My brothers were, nobody was in any of the scouts, okay?
Yeah.
And I had to, when you have, a play date with somebody and then you have to go to their planned thing so your parents can pick you up? So I had to, go.
Uh-huh.
I remember sitting there going, you pay money to be in this? I was mind blown. It was like a chore. I'm like, this is your extracurricular of choice that costs you money?
I don't know if did it cost money to be in it, Case? I guess it did. It must have.
It has to.
Yeah.
Everything costs money. There's no such thing as a free lunch, Brian.
I guess.
I was like, this sucks. They had to build. When I was there, they had to build this little toy car and then race it. And
Kenzie, that's the one good thing the Scouts did.
I'm like, this sucks.
Okay.
No.
There was a line just to drop your car down a wooden ramp. I'm like, okay. You just waited 30 minutes to do that?
See, this is why Kenzie should stay in the Girl Scouts, Case, right?
Little did I know this morning I would wake up and defend the Boy Scouts.
But go ahead, Case. It's all you.
We're in the position we're in now because much like Brian, my brother was in Boy Scouts. I was not. I couldn't fathom the idea of it. But every year when they would sign my brother back up, my parents would ask me, do you want to join Boy Scouts this year? And my answer was the same every time. I'll only do it if I only have to do the Pinewood Derby, which is the wooden race car event that happens every year.
Yuck.
I wish DraftKings would take bets on the Pinewood Derby. I'm obsessed with it. I'm still angry I never got to compete in the Pinewood Derby.
Kenzie, it was great to be a guy, 10 years old or whatever. And I got to go just because my brother was in it, to go watch the Pinewood Derby racing that you just shunned publicly on the air.
What do you mean a derby? It was a stupid Hot Wheels. That
No,
was
it's
worse
not.
than Hot Wheels because you built it yourself.
That's right. You had to build the
Go
car.
home and play with Hot Wheels.
No, you build the car to race other people and win. Victory.
You have a bonding moment with your father in the garage where he shows you how to use power tools. And then he
That's
shows
not
you
how our family went down. A lot of yelling when you project with Dad.
Well, maybe your family could have done a better job with getting everybody together and getting you involved with helping out, maybe painting the Pinewood Derby car.
You painted it too?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like everybody had their own design.
All I knew is I'm like, why couldn't my parents pick me up earlier? This
Oh my God,
sucks.
this is so disheartening.
There was such a long line.
Yes.
To drop your car down a ramp. Of
Yes.
course it's going fast. It's going down.
Oh my God.
It's like dropping it off a staircase. Look how fast mine went. No kidding.
Okay, 773 is checked in all caps. Don't you dare disparage the Pinewood Derby, Kenzie.
There's so many people there, and it was so boring.
It's like Daytona. This is racing weekend for Boy Scouts. This is as big as it gets.
Well, I don't want to say rubbing is racing with the Boy Scouts, but then again, kind of what it was, I guess, yeah.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q 101.
We just mentioned the story about the Boy Scouts of America changing their name to Scouting America to rebrand by next February to basically cover up a lot of the problems they've had over the last several decades. And we talked about,
This is a light way to put it. A few issues.
A few issues. You can do a deep dive yourself if you want to take a look at the problems that they've had. But they've also brought in girls coming in 2018. That's happened. It's been around for 114 years. But the real issue was we started talking about our relationship to it as a kid when, for me, my brother was in the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts and did the Pinewood Derby racing. That's what Kenzie brought up and tried to tear down this American and Chicago institution of Pinewood Derby racing.
Can I say something?
We're going to let you speak. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Tread lightly.
I was trying to remember because I remember going to this meeting and being like, okay, this sucks. I had no idea. I thought when I brought this up, you guys are going to be like, why were they racing cars at Boy Scouts? I'd be like, I have no idea. Nobody was tying knots or building fires. What a weird day. Like, the Boy Scouts where I was from was clearly messed up. This is a dad thing. This is why you're getting all psycho about it now. Because dads are more competitive with their young male children than anything else in the world.
And I only have a daughter, but she's going to build a Pinewood Derby car. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, that's what Stephen Arlington Heights said, because he checked in and said Pinewood Derby is really for the dads to see who can cheat with weights to be the best.
Oh, God.
Is it cheating?
Well, yes, because you have certain regulations. It's like in NASCAR, right?
There's rules
Kenzie,
for the fake toy car going down a ramp.
It's not fake.
Yeah, it's very real, actually.
It's a toy.
Everything in life has rules. The Pinewood Derby is no different. But he makes a great observation because in the same way that dads force their kids to play sports to live out their dreams, this is the equivalent but for nerds. Because there's science and math involved in Pinewood Derby, and they all cheat to win.
Yeah, but if you go on the deep wormhole, that dad still dropped the pass in the end zone. And this is his way to get back, is to win the Pinewood Derby with his son. You know, that the trauma's there with that dad somewhere.
You're exactly right.
Who's
I can't
cheating.
believe what's happening right now.
Kenzie, do you want some of the rules of the car? Here we go.
How many rules are there?
There's 9 that I can find.
It's like the commandments. I always tend to win.
The width shall not exceed 2 3/4 inches. The width.
Thou shalt not have fun.
Okay. The length shall not exceed 7 inches.
Ayo.
You're going to have a field day with these.
There's a lot of inches and ounces in this thing.
And wood.
Weight shall not exceed 5 ounces. Axles, wheels, and bodies shall be from the materials provided in the kit. There's a kit you can build.
So all the cars are the same. They weigh the same, they're the same length, and there's a kit.
That's the thing. You have to take just those materials and make it a faster car than your neighbor.
Okay.
Additional wheels can be purchased separately. Well, that's where it gets sticky.
It's an upcharge, you know.
It's a black market sale for Pinewood Derby car wheels. Wheel bearings, washers, and brushes are prohibited. No lubrication can be used.
I cannot take this seriously. What do you can't put lube on the car? To make it aerodynamic or something?
The Pinewood Derby sponsored by KY Jelly.
I would think jelly would jam the wheels anyways.
I think so.
I don't think it'd make it go faster.
What
It's
if,
not luge.
what if you walked into a Pinewood Derby tournament and there's big Magnum banners everywhere? Just like,
Honestly, it's probably what the Boy Scouts should have had going on.
They do intermission with like Jello wrestling. There's a blow-up pool on the side.
some Hooters girls run in.
Do you think somebody brought in a car without wheels and just lube, and then they had to make that that rule? They just threw it down.
Somebody must have lubed for them to have that rule.
Oh.
Somebody ruined it for everybody where you can't sneak lube in.
They're like ramps all sticky now. Ruined it for the next car. Okie doke. What else?
Kelly checked in. I'm done with the rules because Kelly checked in at 7:08. Said my niece is in the Girl Scouts and they did a Pinewood Derby this year for the first time. Me and my daughter went and it was a huge deal. It was about a 4-hour thing, and anytime the girls lost, there was always a group of Girl Scouts sobbing their eyes out for losing. I don't think I ever want to go again. Ha ha. To the Pinewood Derby.
I saw guys cry, in fairness, when I went too.
I want to know those guys that cried when they lost.
I think I might have cried when my brother lost. I was so invested.
Well, there's so much work into that car. It takes days, weeks to build the car.
Imagine being out in round 1. That would suck.
Yeah. Should we go to a Pinewood Derby race? There's one going on.
I will not be there.
You're going.
Well, I think we should build a car.
Oh.
I just seriously don't have time for all these things. I'm going to lose my mind.
You make the time. We're building the car.
Think about the visual, by the way, of going to, let's say, the Elgin Cub Scouts meetup, the Pinewood Derby, and the three of us show up with a car and are like, we're here for the Pinewood Derby.
We also have to get the uniforms.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing that.
You're wearing.
You would look good in that. He makes some money on the
thing.
side.
I don't need some weird like fantasy requests. It's disgusting.
Hey,
They're like, do a schoolgirl next. Yeah. No.
Yeah. I'd love to read your DMs after you wear the Cub Scout uniform.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and we're having a conversation. It started with the Boy Scouts of America changing its name to Scouting America, led to the memories of things in the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts with the Pinewood Derby cars that Kenzie had witnessed that didn't know what was going on with that at first, and now understands that it is a great dad-son bonding moment, and people remember for the rest of their lives, clearly, as you can see what our listeners do. Do you understand that part now, Kenzie? Do you appreciate it or no?
Okay.
Is that do you understand the vibe?
See, I'm sure it's very fun.
I don't think
if I could time travel and tell my 8-year-old self to enjoy it, I apologize.
But now can you? Now can you maybe see the error of your ways at 8 years old and seeing that and saying, I don't like this?
I don't think I was wrong as an 8-year-old. Put me on a stake, okay? I'm sorry.
Can you at least admit that it might be something special? Okay.
Good heavens,
Good
I don't know
Lord.
what you want me to do.
I want you to understand. Maybe Neil can help you out.
20 years ago. I'm sorry.
Neil in Michigan City has an experience he's talking about with Pinewood Derby as a kid. Neil, ahoy, what's up, buddy?
Hi there. Yeah, the memory that I have for Pinewood Derby, other than, of course, being able to actually build the car with my father, was that when I was a Tiger Scout, I ended up showing up to the Pinewood Derby event, and I was the only Tiger Scout that ended up showing up out of my entire patrol. So there I was with all the rest of the other patrol classes, the Wolves, the Weeblos, and stuff like that. And here is this kid with his little car kind of going, well, I'm to represent the entire Tiger Scout rank. What the heck do I do? And amazingly enough, I ended up winning first place against every single other rank, and I actually even got in the paper as well, at least our local paper.
Wow.
And I won everything there, and I was just like, holy crud!
Brought a tear to my eye.
Down there, it was just like, I won.
That's so cool. And then when you were in the paper, did they credit you or did they completely ignore you like they did Brian when he was in his local paper?
They actually did credit me, and I was so proud of that when it was just like, I cannot believe this little orange car that I just built. I mean, it basically looked like a wedge, and it outperformed everybody else, and I could not believe it. And I mean, that just holds such a fond memory for me, at least being in the Cub Scouts itself. And it just blew my mind.
Well, that's an amazing story, and I can feel the passion. I can feel the memory. I can feel the nostalgia. I can feel everything.
That's what the Pinewood Derby does for families.
Do you feel jealousy because you never won and he was also in the paper?
I didn't. I was not in the Cub Scouts, so I didn't have a Pinewood Derby. I don't understand it, but I can feel it through him, the victory.
But yeah, as a third-generation Eagle Scout who's gone through that, I can just remember looking at my dad and being like, see, I can do it too. I can actually do this. And so it was such a proud moment for me on that. And then, of course, even going into Boy Scouts, trying to follow my father's and grandfather's steps of what they done. I even went to the greatest Boy Scout ranch that is, which is Philmont down in New Mexico, and I hiked one of the mountains there called the Tooth of Time. And so just that way I can stand next to the shadows and the ghosts of my father and grandfather and say, I have accomplished what they have accomplished and be proud of what I've done. So that's what the Boy Scouts mean to me. Is literally following the steps.
Sorry about that. It's probably a good experience for me.
Yeah. How you feel now?
I don't mean to bring anybody down, but I just have such fond memories. I just have such fond memories of being in the Boy Scouts and being in the Cub Scouts. So it does sadden me a little bit to see that they're decided that, okay, well, I guess now we have to start being inclusive in everything. Because I don't mean no.
Hold up, I'm going to stop you.
Wait a minute.
You were killing it. I'm cutting onions in here. I'm crying on your story. I'm going to cut you off, man.
Now they're including other people.
I'm going to save you, bro. It's all good. Neil, we appreciate you.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.